So I'm going to read to you. And some of this may actually be really challenging. The people that kidnapped me didn't even tell me who they were or where I was going. They told my parents not to be in the house when they came in, because they ended up telling me after the fact, if the parents are there and they see a kid going through this, you might have second thoughts, and you just don't want to be there. Nobody was in my house, and these people just essentially kidnapped me. I didn't know if they were going to kill me. I didn't know where I was going, anything. The way they sent me there, by kidnapping me, I've been diagnosed with PTSD. Olivia's a 26-year-old, doesn't sleep in a house without any other adult around for the rest of her life. This is Michelle. She went voluntarily to a program. I think it was in a motel where my parents dropped me off. I was taken into a room, took my clothes off, and was given the new Army surplus gear. I had all my stuff taken away from me. I vividly remember all of my self-identifying teenage pieces, my earrings and my bracelets and my watch, and everything went into Ziploc bags and was taken away. I remember feeling so metaphorically naked of all these pieces of my identity. And I remember feeling I smelled that they were trying to break me. Then it was reinforced by the you're not allowed to talk to each other for a week. This can be, in places that I've worked, this was quite common, that we would have a phase of the program where we're actually instructed not to interact with other participants in the group. They didn't tell us where we were going or anything like that. That was one of the rules in the program, the wilderness therapy. Was no future talk and no future speech, basically. You can't ask what you're doing in the future. You just have to focus on what you're doing presently. This one is very challenging for me because this is the way that I was trained. I was trained not to answer how long the hike is, when someone's graduating, what happens afterwards, anything like that. There was no trust at all place in the campers at any point. They were always ready for us to escape. And so they made a point of telling us right off the bat, look, if you run, this is what you're wearing, you'll run to Will's house, because he's the first house leaving the woods. Look, you will be caught, you will be brought back. So it was very much in my mind like a prison induction in that way, and that really took any aspect of individuality or freedom away from it. So this next one is an impact letter from a young man, a young gay man whose parents found a ton of gay porn on his computer. He winds up in a program that the rest of the kids in the group are there for substance abuse issues. They were worried about addiction to masturbation, things like this. He was talking to older men about how to find an experience. So I get a letter from my parents talking about all the porn and all the people I've been talking to online. And then I was made to read that letter in front of the entire group. So that day I had kind of a setback for me, and I had quite a cry that day. I forgot exactly what was in mine, but the addiction to masturbation was definitely a part of it. And that was a little bit, obviously, embarrassing for me. So they like to fuck with us in that group. So I was reasonably new, and they had told the guy because he had fucked up so badly, he wasn't leaving when they said he was going to leave. And he believed that, right up until the moment that his parents showed up to the group. Yep, straight up lied to him. My therapists were dicks. I didn't want to get out of my sleeping bag in the morning, and he and another instructor would pick up my sleeping bag with me in it. There was snow on the ground, and they would dump me out into the snow in my underwear. And then we walk away. Then they walk away with my sleeping bag and just leave me there. If you're a kid that's in trouble, this is the second boy I interviewed. If you're a kid who's in trouble and you're sent there, then this program can't be doing any further harm to you. That's counterproductive. And everything from being shipped away with strangers to having your possessions and clothing taken away, from you to being blindfolded and driven out into the forest to borderline abusive instructors, none of that is productive to helping someone that's in trouble. So we talk about the therapist who comes and goes from the group, right? And that therapist in the literature is often called a gatekeeper because they decide ultimately when the person graduates. She seemed to really enjoy lording it over people. They were not getting out until she decided that they got out. So it was almost like she was on a power trip, and she held your destiny in her hands. It was made abundantly clear to you by her on multiple occasions, every time she came out, that you were not getting out until she decided. I don't know if I got a bad therapist, or that's just the way it is. I didn't have the physical strength to bow drill. The staff was so heavily vested in bringing up my hard skills, I think my soft skills tended to fail. I had to fade to the back. I wasn't there for being physically weak. If somebody asked me to go on a hike, I would probably say no, unless I intensely studied the route and what we were doing and stuff like that. I just find it emotionally triggering, I guess, would be the right phrase to put it as. They stripped me of my humanity. Speak to me like a human. I was a stranger at home and in the wilderness.